Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of the Basketball Show. My name is Paul. We have an interesting subject today. Nothing current, but this is a very interesting subject that a lot of people keep talking about till this day. And I want to talk about and bring up some comments that Mario Ellie recently said. And we got to debunk the whole LeBron fan myth to protect him, that he wasn't the first one to start super teams and join forces with his competition. So we've got, I believe, Jeff Teague is on video, said that LeBron James ruined the NBA by doing that, joining forces with his buddy Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. So Mario Ellie, who played for the Houston Rockets back in the 90s for about 5 seasons and had a 13-year career, recently was on air and made some interesting comments on LeBron James. He was basically criticizing LeBron James for calling himself the GOAT, while actually cheating and forming super teams to actually win a title and join his competition to do it that way. Now, this is exactly what Mario Ellie had to say, and we're going to respond to those comments and debunk the whole LeBron fan myth right after.
That's why you're in the NBA for. All these guys want to join each other well and play with each other. No, I want to beat you. LeBron, you say you the GOAT. Why you joining Bosh and, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing that in the 90s. Like Dream calling Jordan up. You want to link up? And calling Bird and Magic up. Y'all want to link up and play? You hear those old school dudes talk. They don't want to. I want to beat you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to join you. These boys want it easy right now. It's the AAU era right now, Will. Everybody want it easy. LeBron want Anthony Davis. Who else you want, LeBron? You talking about you to go. Come on, man.
Now, as we have heard, it was not a long statement from Mario, but he was throwing a little bit of shade on LeBron James. He's not the first player in recent times that he's been doing that. And he's been throwing shade on James for calling himself the GOAT while actually joining his competition to win rings. Now, in response to this, we will 100% hear LeBron fanatics defend him in any possible way, and point out that there were teams before that actually created super teams and big threes and in some cases big fours. So let me go through the main ones of those teams here and kind of debunk this whole defense of LeBron like a good lawyer coming in hot. So let me just mention this for the big three groups that I'm going to be talking about, or I will debunk here. None of these players actually collaborated with each other, structured their contracts and deals to match, and make this possible for themselves, except LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. So none of the other teams did that. That's first of all. None of these teams planned this. There were randomly available players in a trade, or players with expiring contracts or free agents, and they never planned it like the Miami Heat 3 did. Now, first big three Bron fans tend to mention is the Barkley, Pippen, Clyde Drexler joining Hakeem, the Dream in Houston. I'm mentioning 4 players, but when Pippen was there, Clyde Drexler wasn't there. But let me just explain the whole situation. Now, let's take a little bit closer look here. Clyde Drexler, for example, came to Houston in a trade between teams which had to have matching salaries and all the bells and whistles that trade involves. So, by the way, Hakeem was already 32 years old when Clyde Drexler joined him. Clyde joined Hakeem for the 94-95 season and played only 4 more years in his career after joining Hakeem. So he was old. He was way past his prime, and he was already 32 years old when he came into Houston. Now, Charles Barkley joined the Houston Rockets for the 96-97 season. What is that, 2 years behind when Drexler joined? And he was already 33 years old, so way past his prime. Hakeem at that time, though, was already 34 years old. Barkley was also traded in a normally structured NBA deal between teams. Imagine that. No planning between players whatsoever. Now, Scottie Pippen joined the Rockets for the 98-99 season. Scottie Pippen, when he joined the Rockets, he was already 33 years old. And Hakeem at that time, my friends, was 36 years old by then. 36. Barkley was 35. And Drexler by that time, well, Drexler was already retired. So the argument for the Rockets forming a big three in a similar way that LeBron, Wade, and Bosh did before them is totally bogus. And I just showed you that. Now, let's take a look at another famous big three, which would be the Boston Celtics. We're looking at Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, joining the Celtics with Paul Pierce. They also had Rondo, but he was already on the team. So the Timberwolves in 2006, 2007 actually made the decision to rebuild, and they wanted to trade Garnett. So they traded Garnett to the Celtics for a record of 7 other players. So this was through a trade, and Minnesota didn't want to keep him because they wanted to rebuild the team. Garnett, when he joined the Celtics, he was already 31 years old, and by that time, he played 12 seasons in the league. He was a veteran in the league by that time, and his numbers were already declining. Pierce was the only one on that team out of that big three that was below 30 years old, and he was 29. He was almost 30. Now, when Ray Allen came to the Celtics, he was already 32 years old. 32. He was acquired by the Celtics also without any planning, between the players in a draft night deal between the Celtics and the Sonics. There was no planning involved between players, no coercing any other one to come here or come there or whatever. This was all team related. Players didn't even have contact between each other to get this arranged. So this whole big three story compared to LeBron's for the Celtics is also bogus. Now let's even do one more. The third one I'm going to mention is that, as you can see in the top photo that I have on my background, is the Los Angeles Lakers. And they actually formed a big four instead of a big three, right? Well, not quite. But we both know that Shaq and Kobe were already on the Lakers. And then they acquired 2 players, Karl Malone and Gary Payton, in their prime. Yeah, right. Karl Malone came to the Lakers in the last season of his career. He was already 40 years old. 40. That's the logic. Malone was 40 years old when he joined the Lakers in 2003. Malone's contract simply expired without planning it with the Lakers, Kobe or Shaq, and he signed again at the age of 40 with the team, enjoyed a 31-year-old Shaq and a 25-year-old Kobe. But wait, the Lakers also got an unbelievable point guard, right, in Gary Payton. Now, well, Gary Payton joined the Lakers for the same season that Karl Malone came in, and Gary Payton was already 35 years old. 35. So they got a 40-year-old mailman and a 35-year-old the glove. That's that super big four that they formed for the Lakers in the eyes of LeBron fans. Now, all of these players LeBron fans mentioned never planned on joining forces before to win easy titles like Bron and Wade and Bosh did. They never planned this out. They were also, all of them, past their prime. Now, if LeBron fans decide to say that 32 years old is not that old for players, because we got Garnett at 31, we got Ray Allen at 32. So many of them, of course, in an argument would say, hey, those guys are not really that old at 32 years old, right? That's fine. Now, let me remind them that when Michael Jordan beat the Detroit Pistons and won a title, they keep saying he did it only because the Pistons got old. That's the only reason that in their eyes, Michael Jordan beat the Detroit Pistons. Well, let me tell you this. This is a nugget. The Pistons' average age on that team that Michael Jordan beat was 30.6. The average age of that team was 30.6, even younger. And LeBron fans say the Pistons got old when MJ beat them. Come on. Isaiah Thomas was 29. Joe Dumars was 27. Dennis Rodman was 29. You got Lane Beer at 33. Vinnie Johnson at 34. Come on. I mean, 30.6 was also the average age for their starting lineup for that season when the Chicago Bulls won the NBA title and Michael Jordan beat them. Their average age for starting lineup was 30.6, and their average age for the whole roster was 30.6. Nice coincidence, but it's true. So now that we have the big three and big four teams debunked when compared to what LeBron did, let's see how old were those players joining Miami. LeBron James, 26 years old, in his prime. Dwayne Wade, the oldest guy there, 29 years old, still in his prime. And Chris Bosh was also 26 in his prime. All of them were in their prime. And the second thing is, they planned it. And LeBron instigated it to cheat his way to NBA titles. They talked together, planned their contracts together. Bosh was the only one that came through a trade, which was a sign-and-trade deal made possible by Bosh putting pressure on the Raptors to leave after planning everything with LeBron and Wade. So the Raptors actually signed him to a contract, but also agreed to trade him. LeBron planned to join forces with these guys. He also, when he went to Miami, he promised not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not 7 titles. That's what he promised. And he ended up turning tail and leaving after 4 seasons, and 2 of them losses. And Pat Riley gave him everything he possibly could, and he was furious. Now that we have all of this debunked, nicely explained, we can clearly see that LeBron James was the first one that created the true super team, joined forces with his competition instead of trying to beat his competition, just to weasel his way into NBA titles. Now he's playing in what, season 21? He's only got 4. Even though he planned out his whole career, he had Wade, he had Bosh, now he has Davis. He played with a young prime Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, all these guys that supported him in these runs, and he still only got 4 titles. That's your GOAT. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, my friends. Take care.